Fire Radio.
This episode is brought to you by HME Aaron's Fox. When it comes to fire apparatus, the industry right now is facing some big challenges. Higher cost, long delivery times, and uncertainty at every turn. But that's where HME Aaron's Fox stands apart. Built in the U.S. with a legacy that dates back for over a century, HME Aaron's Fox is redefining what departments can expect from their next rig. Their lineup of custom and commercial pumpers, tankers, and wildland trucks are designed with precision, craftsmanship, and purpose. And most importantly, they're available. While other manufacturers are quoting years out, HME continues to deliver trucks that are ready for service, bucking the national trend of the new normal. They've streamlined their process, focused on smart engineering, kept their builds affordable, reliable, and attainable for departments of every size. So if your department is tired of waiting and ready to put a new rig on the street, it's time to take a closer look at HME Aaron's Fox. Visit firetrucks.com to see what's ready to roll today and experience a company that's truly flipped the script on the fire apparatus industry.
So you know this is a full-size can? I'm that huge.
Can I? That's ridiculous. Like, can we just talk about the fact that you drink Coke? Like regular Coke?
Well, I got the wife hooked on these little Coke Zeros.
Coke Zero. So that's different.
Yeah, because they're sometimes when you want a little treat, but you don't want a full can, or I try not to drink too much of it, but when you want a little can,
Coke is way too sweet for me. Can't drink it.
Oh,
and then, is Coke Zero sweet though?
I'm gonna guess if you don't like Coke, you're not gonna like Coke Zero. I think Coke Zero just takes out the bad chemicals and puts in other bad chemicals, and then lies to me and tells me it's sugar-free.
Well, I was addicted to Diet Coke for a while. Like, addicted. This is probably about 7-8 years ago. Not even. Yeah, 7-8 years ago. I was sitting in an office every day, sitting behind a desk, and we would go through cases of Diet Coke a week. Like, I was drinking like 5 or 6 a day.
Yeah, that's bad.
Oh, bad. I mean, it was like everything in my life was unraveling because of my Diet Coke addiction. But I'll be honest with you, it was real. Like, I fucking love Diet Coke. And every once in a while, I get a Diet Coke now, and it's a treat, man. Yeah. It's a treat.
And that's why we get the little ones, too, because then you don't feel too bad. You just have a few sips, and they're gone.
Yeah, I would just crush like 4 of them,
That's...
What are your thoughts, truly? What are your thoughts on fountain soda? Like, soda's bad, right? We all know soda's bad. But you go to, like, a 7-Eleven or a Wawa. We have Wawa by us. You go to a fountain and you put
some are better.
Ice,
yeah.
The ice falls down and you get the largest one they have, right? Like, nobody gets a small, right? Everybody goes big. How it just hits differently, man. You know how they say like Coke tastes different in a bottle, like the Mexican Coke tastes different than, well,
supposedly it's real sugar, I guess. I don't know, right?
Bro,
isn't that the Mexican Coke deal?
Nothing but the best.
Well,
I'm losing you. What's up with this connection?
Yeah, you broke up. You broke up a little bit.
Is it me?
I look great.
You're good, right? All right, we'll keep going. We'll see how it goes. I'm on my patio, so I don't know.
We'll just pull a few clips out of this and use it for motivational Mondays or something, where you gotta give me a reason to get out of bed on a Monday. Oh, I wish I could smoke in the house. Well, you're in the patio. I need a little clip every once in a while to motivate myself to put on pants. And you do that for me, and I hope I do that for you.
What did I text you today?
Therapy, ? Yeah, it's usually how I know when... Every once in a while you get like a, hey, how's it going? Hope you're good. One of those passing. But then every once in a while, therapy.
Do you feel obligated then? Like, do I give
Absolutely not. No, I get excited because I'm like, finally, we get to talk to the Dutch. Let's go.
Why don't you ever reach out? Like, I feel this is very one way now.
Truthfully, it's because you're so busy.
That's crap.
Well, I don't want to bother you.
I always have time for friends.
Well, you heard it here. He called me a friend.
Well, and to be honest, right? So here's a fun thing, and this is what I wanted to talk to you about tonight, which this was a topic that I get to unpack with you. This is what I enjoy doing with you, is finding topics that have nothing to do with the fire service, and yet it has everything to do.
I was waiting for you to finish that sentence because I'm going to say, it has everything to do with it.
Are we
yeah.
getting to a place that you're going to start finishing my sentences? Is that where we are?
No, but I think we're really close to going skiing together.
Oh yeah.
Because no, it's fun. I honestly, truth, you're very busy, and I don't want to bother you, and unless I need something or I want to, and every once in a while I should say hi, but you go a couple weeks, and then therapy text. I'm like, love it, because then it's like, yeah, and then you're like, when can you find time for me? I'm like, anytime, bro. And if I got
today, like you jumped on a grenade for me, man. Thank you.
Well, I had I had to go spend $700 on the dog to get his shots, and then I was like, I don't really have anything going on, so
Reason
I'm open.
642 why I don't own a dog.
I would spend $700 a month on my dog if he asked me to.
I know you would. That's the problem with dog ownership, right?
Yeah, and he's a ginger border collie. He wears a bandana around his neck. He walks into every store, and people lose their minds. He is so handsome.
What's his name?
His name is Milo, like the sweet tea. If I wasn't married, I would get a Coke Zero full size. And I would go sit down at the outdoor mall with Milo, and I would just let the women come to me. Because with this hair and this dog,
that's it.
And my wife knows it. She laughs. But
the winning package.
I wouldn't have to do anything. And of course, my opening line, and I've already thought about this, because I'm not getting a divorce, obviously. But I always tell people, I train the dog to only go up to the pretty women. And then, they giggle and oh, you're so sweet. You say that to all the girls. Well, yeah. But
you're just so smooth. So smooth.
Even when he walked into the vet, all of the vet techs come from the back room to say hi to him and pet him. He's just that kind of dog. He's just that kind of dog.
Get it.
$700 a month if I have to. I don't prefer it, but
Yeah, whatever it takes.
So what? I interrupted you. What are we getting on?
Well, you mentioned friends, right? And I was thinking about, today I had this conversation with one or two friends, like true friends. And I was thinking about, as we've gotten older, your friends get thinner and thinner. I'm talking friends, not acquaintances, not guys people that you share a text with every once in a while or a laugh. I'm talking about your true inner circle, guys that you can lean on, that are there when you need them, that you'll be there for them, like that type of thing. Do you know what I'm saying?
We've had a very similar conversation recently at the firehouse because a lot of people are retiring right now. And I made the comment one time, I said, we're not friends here. We work together. I said, your true friends will be the ones that will call you 3 weeks after you've retired and say, hey man, let's get a beer. Or what are you doing? Want to go ride bikes? Want to go play Frisbees? That's when I think a lot of us will find out who our real friends are in the fire service. They're the ones that call and have nothing to do with work, and it's very few. I was out for 3 months with back surgery. Very few people text me, you good? What do you need?
When was that?
3-4 years ago. Thought my career was over.
Okay. Yeah. I was hoping it wasn't like, the last 3 months or something.
No, I would have told you.
But I mean, what does that look like for you, right? Because you're right. You're so right. And I have found that, the friends that I do have today, I'm such a better friend for them, and they're a good friend for me. That's what you want out of a friend, right?
Yeah, and you attract people. When you act a certain way, you will attract people that will reciprocate that and act, accordingly. And, you have to be okay to not be friends with everyone, number one. The brotherhood is, yes, it's a brotherhood, but it's also, we work together. And I've had 15 people that I've liked over the last 5-10 years that have retired, and they're gone. They're in the wind. And it's nothing personal. It's not, but they're busy. They have lives, kids, different career. They move on, they move, it's just, the next guy up takes his position in the truck. And it's like, it's nothing personal. It's just your time's up. And they don't come by the station. They don't call. They just move on.
Takes work then, no?
Yeah. I'm afraid I'm going to have to make a really conscious effort if I still live here in Alabama when I retire to go by the station. Because I don't want to be the guy that talks about it for 3 years before I retire and then just a ghost,
Well, that's a really good point, right? But I think about that. It's like, why do guys fade away like that. It's like their last day, and then they're kind of gone. And like, do they miss it? I guess they miss it. I interviewed Dave Gallagher today. Dave's been on the show a couple times. He is, he joined the fire service in 1976, right? He was on the job from 79 to 2004. He hasn't been on a fire truck in 21 years, but he still teaches, and he is badass as they come and has the pedigree to back it up. And he's a wonderful human being, and he's got so much to offer. And I think he would love to be able to step back in a firehouse, but he doesn't live in Ohio anymore. He's back. But like, it seems like when guys leave, they leave. And it's like, do they not want to go back because it reminds them of it? Do they not want to go back because the faces change? Like, that's interesting to me. I kind of want to unpack that for a minute since you brought it up.
Well, I had a guy tell me one time who recently retired. He was less than 3-4 months out of retirement. Is my mic too loud?
No, you're okay.
Okay.
I mean,
He was less than like 3 months out of the service, fire service. He did 25 years. And he made the comment to me, he goes, "I don't feel like I'm on the team anymore." I said, "What? You were here 12 weeks ago." He goes, "Yeah, but it's just different. You're not, I don't know." And I think it's going to be something that I don't understand completely until I'm there.
Yeah, I get that.
But to hear people say things like, "I'm not on the team anymore," you're like, okay, but you know everybody here still. Nothing has changed much in 3 months. But
I wonder if that's what it is, though, Shimek, is that it's, Mickey and I were talking about this, and we were talking about, you're going to remember the memorable fires, but there's going to be a lot of fires in your career that you don't remember, right? They don't stand out. But you're going to remember the guys you went to the fires with, right? It's the guys that make those fires hit and last in your memory, right? It's the right company on the right day with the right fire is what makes that memorable. And the fires can certainly be memorable, but it's the guys that you go to fires with. I think that's the most memorable part of it. And maybe after you retire, you don't feel like you're part of the team anymore. You're not putting your gear on every day, jumping on that rig, and you're not going to the fires anymore. And so before you know it, the faces start to change, and then it's just not the same.
Yeah. Because could you imagine coming back 20 years? You're going to walk back into the station 20 years after you retire and go, "Hey, I used to work here," and some 20-year-old kid's going to be like, "I don't even know you. I wasn't even born yet."
When I volunteered in Poughkeepsie, New York, it was a combination department, and I rode with the paid guys almost every night. There was only a few volunteers in that company, and I was one of the guys that literally during my college years, I literally moved into the firehouse with them and went to fires all the time and ran out the door with them all the time. And I look at the department today, and I don't think there's a single guy left that was there when I was there. And when I think about that, and I go back up because Rob's still there, right? Rob, National Fire Radio. Rob, he's a deputy chief in that department now, but he wasn't even there when I was there. He came in long after I was there. And so my point is, like, when I go back and I knock on the door to go in, drop off a coffee cake because I'm up in the area or something, just wanted to say hello, just wanted to get, every firehouse has its smell. Like, I need a taste of it, right? I just want to walk in and, remember a couple of my great stories while I was there and say hello to the guys, see what they're up to, learn about them some more, and then I get on the road. But it's not the same. You're a visitor, it's not your house anymore. And it hits differently. But I think when you leave an impact and a fire company has the culture, I know when I go back, a lot of guys still know who I am, but I don't know if that's because it's Jeremy from National Fire Radio and he was a fireman here, and and that's how they know me, because they see me on social media. But if I wasn't that guy and I was just a regular dude, they probably wouldn't know who I was.
No. And I think that's what these guys are feeling when they leave, is they just kind of take off the jersey. You next time the next season starts, there's somebody wearing your number, What
do you think that feels like?
I'm guessing there's going to be a transition period, which I think we need to talk more about, where when you go from having a life of service to all of a sudden you take the jersey off and the tones don't go off anymore. That's got to be a weird transition, to where if you're not careful and you don't have something else to do, or another hobby or another direction, I've known a few people that went home and sat home for a few months and just didn't know what to do. And they got depressed. They got a little overweight, maybe started drinking a little too much. And then the wife will come in eventually and say, look, get your ass off the couch, take a shower, and get the hell out of the house.
If they still have a wife.
Yeah. So, we all know people that they eat, breathe, and sleep fire service. That's their life. And I can't imagine what that's like when you retire and all of a sudden it moves on without you. So when the team bus goes, well, we're leaving, and you're not on it, it's got to be a weird feeling.
Yeah.
And very few people are going to care that I was a fireman. I know that. I just fill a spot, and I do the best I can, and, for the city, but I'm not expecting a parade.
Well said. Well said. I think, too, we need to do a better job at keeping in touch. We talked about friendships, right? You said you were out on your leave for back surgery, and, the phone wasn't ringing every day, right?
I found out, I found some people that I didn't know were my friends. They were the ones, oddly enough, that called more than anybody else, or just a quick text, And I made new friendships. I don't know, it's weird. I don't know. I'm hoping that retirement in 36 months is going to be as fun as I'm hoping it is, because
I'm excited for that.
I never want to shave my face again. I promise you.
You're going to grow. I mean, you're going to
Yes.
Yeah.
It'll be here-ish.
Man, you're going to manscape it, though. I mean, I don't like those unkept, you fucking birds could live in there and shit.
I'm going to look.
Grizzly Adams, I'm sure, but just keep it tight, will you?
I'll be greased up tight. It'll be looking good. My wife will probably put me on a short leash, because once the beard's here, yeah.
Look out, ladies. Between the beard and Milo,
anybody in the market for a 52-year-old broke down fireman
with a
get
dog,
in line.
With a red dog with a bandana.
Ginger dog with an attitude, because he knows he's good looking. He's so smug.
That's the right package right there. I think you got something.
But no, with the retirement thing, I think it all comes back to communication. What a great thing to talk about. I think that if we could just make it a little more okay to feel more comfortable to come by, and have a pot of coffee and shoot the shit. Or maybe it's okay to go, you know what, in the first 2-3 months, you kind of go through this postpartum type thing where you're like, I'm lost. I don't know what to do. I felt that way when I graduated high school. Graduating high school was the worst thing, knock on wood, to date, that's ever happened to me.
That's
no
hilarious.
lie. Because seriously.
Wait, break that down. What do you mean?
It was the worst. I've lost my stepmother, my grandparents. I mean, I've had, and I'm not downplaying that. I'm just saying graduating high school was the worst experience. And I was in the Army for a while. Because I went 18 years where you're having fun, your friends are at school, you're riding bikes, you're skateboarding, you're playing hacky sack, you're jackassing around, you're carrying a pen to class and somehow passing all these things. You're having a good time. And then one day they hand you this stupid piece of paper and shake your hand and go, here, get out of here. You're good. I'm like, all right. I remember standing there well, now what? It was 1995, and I'm like, I don't know what to do. Everybody was going to college. I'm like, why would you want to sign up and then pay to do this? No. School sucks.
High school, huh?
Yeah, so it was the worst.
What year did you graduate? 93?
95.
Oh, 90, same as me.
Yeah.
You just said you were planning your 50th birthday party.
Well, yeah, I turned 49 in a month, and then we're going to the Dominican Republic for my 50th, my wife and I. So we're just going through the
I thought
planning.
You were talking about, I thought it was coming up. You were planning.
No, no one's invited. I'm just, the wife and I.
I'd like to be invited personally. I mean, that's.
Well, if you happen to be in the Dominican Republic on the same dates, it's not, I don't know how that happened. Why, Steph, but Donch is here, the family's here,
Tell her I'm fun.
Yeah. But, yeah. What if getting out of the fire service is like graduating high school?
Might be for you.
And you think everybody in high school were your buddies, and you lose touch with all of them pretty much. And then everybody in the fire service are your buddies, and then you lose touch. We go our separate ways.
I think there's a real good possibility of that happening.
You should probably just plan for it, and then be okay with going, yeah, that was me then.
I had my 30th high school reunion a few weeks ago, and I was the senior class president, so I had to pull it together with one of the women that is a friend. She was a friend in high school, but I don't communicate with her anymore. But every 10 years we communicate about our reunion. She'll send me a message on Facebook. Now we have like phone numbers and stuff. So she'll text me and say, hey, what do you think you want to do one this year? And I'm like, let's do it. Let's see what happens. We had like 60 people show up out of a class of like 250, 280. Something.
Pretty good.
It's not bad, right? 30 years later.
30 years later.
Right? Yeah. That's not bad. But no. I thought what was really interesting is like everyone there, I don't communicate with anymore. There wasn't probably. I mean, but we had a great night. Everybody got along. I mean, it was a blast. But I'm not friends with any of those people anymore.
We're busy adulting. Everybody has wives and kids and dogs and jobs and bills, and you're trying to make the RV payment this month. You're just trying to keep the lights on. We're busy, and it's not personal that one of my best friends lives 1.5 miles from here, and I see him 4 times a year because he's busy. He's doing the same thing I am.
But so that's what I'm intrigued about, right? It's like I have some friends that I don't see often, and then we pick up the phone and it's like it just picks up from like yesterday, like we just saw each other, right? Like those are the people that like I hold very dear to me. But I have a few friends that are truly close, like confide in, right? Like talk to, and maybe not every day, but every couple days we connect. I got 2 or 3 of those guys that like I've come to truly value, but I've also realized too, for a very long time, I was a lone wolf, man. I was like, I don't need anyone else, right? They're going to slow me down. But I come to find out, I just didn't find or have the right people. What do you think about that?
I don't think we know who we need.
Do you think it changes throughout life?
I think it changes as we get older and we mature, our interests change, and
it comes and goes depending on what you're looking for.
I don't know. I don't necessarily think we're looking for anything. I think sometimes people just come in our lives for
a
reason, or what we may need that at the time. And, you may be like, I'm not going to say his name, but there's a guy at the fire department. I would have never considered him someone I would ever talk to. Does that make sense? And then all of a sudden, give it away what happened, but something happened to him, and I reached out and said, hey, you good? Like I'm checking in on you. And then we became really good friends. And then CIV started, and then he got really involved in that. And all of a sudden we had this friendship, and it's like, I never would have thought, you know what I mean? I never considered, you see what I'm trying to say? Like you have this idea of who you think you want your friends to be. And then you find out that if you take a step back and look at who you're actually hanging out with or talking to, you find out I got a really wide range of different types of people. And, I guess I'm something different to each of them. Or, some of the guys like to just hang out and have coffee in the morning. I have my coffee group,
Sure.
I think if you put a pot of coffee on and just let it loft, just whiffed it and see who shows up.
Well, speaking of the pot of coffee, right? This goes back to our last conversation where we talked about cold chicken nuggets and or cold chicken fingers, right? And
you didn't like my eggs either, but yeah.
What?
You didn't like my runny eggs.
No, that's gross, and it made its rounds on social media, and nobody agreed with you. So we talked about the cold chicken fingers, and I actually had a friend, an acquaintance, but a guy I know, that I admire and respect tremendously, call me and thank me for that episode because he needed to hear it at the right time. And it was like, what?
What about that episode? Like what was said?
Taking the moment to, the idea of the chicken tender, the cold chicken tender at 2 a.m. was to connect with the people you're with. Right? It was sharing a moment in time. And I don't know, he was very kind in his message to me, and he said that episode stood out to him, and it stood as a reminder, and he needed to hear that. And I just thought it was cool. And I got a lot of other people reached out about that episode you and I did. And that is why when we do this, like we've been talking for 24 minutes, and we've talked about nothing, but we've talked about a lot.
Well, I've always told people that you never really know. You never know what you need to hear or somebody needs to hear at that moment. We never really know what's going on in Donch's head right now. You never really know you just don't know. If you walk into a room of 100 people and you say something about cold chicken fingers and about stopping and smelling the roses, or just you make a funny comment, somebody might really need to hear that. And then the fact that he reached out to you and tells
I had
me,
several people send me messages. I get a lot of DMs after episodes. It seems that episodes you and I do, I get there's definitely people are listening, and I think it's because it's different, right? On my podcast channel, it's usually talking with guests, talking about the fire service, talking about leadership, like all that shit, right? And then I was literally talking to Mickey today, and I said, I think I want to just start a podcast where we talk about everything other than the fire service. Like, I just want to have. I actually thought of this. What do you think of this idea? And maybe this is what you and I do. Is like we just start something completely new, not to abandon what we've done. I mean, CIV and NFR. Like, I'm talking about just something different. But I am so fascinated right now with my childhood toys, and I have just like, where are you going with that? I just saw your face light up.
Jesus, because I don't know where I heard it, but somebody made a quote and said the strongest drug on the planet. What is it? And
it's the GI Joe 6-foot aircraft carrier flag that I didn't have, and
it's nostalgia.
Yeah.
What's happening is guys like you and I are growing up, and we have a few bucks in our pocket, and we go buy, and we want to go back to being 10.
I am collecting G.I. Joe again. Facebook Marketplace. I am buying G.I. Joe.
Why do I have random Batmans in my office?
That's great.
Why do I have 3-foot-tall stormtroopers in the corner? Why do I have every snowboard I've ever owned or learned on hanging on my walls? Why do I buy that stuff?
I showed you my GT Performer.
GT Performer. Why do I have... Because it's memories, and it's nostalgia, and it's so strong because when you have a few bucks, you can go search out the stompers. Remember those little stompers? And then you'd build the track, and then the stomper Jeep would drive over everything. The Evel Knievel wind-up thing where you'd get him wind up, and then you release it, and he'd run across the room and jump, and come on.
There's a guy on Instagram that has a page dedicated to that, and he still builds jumps for it, and he lines up all things to see how many he can. I love it. But my idea was to do a childhood memory podcast where we like go after different toys or things or ideas of our childhood, right?
It's just because I refuse to grow up. That's one of the things I'm always saying to people. Like, I'm not ever going to grow up because, just because I'm turning 49 in a month doesn't mean shit.
Bro,
I'm still a child. I've matured, but I'm not growing up. There's a difference.
Explain that difference to me.
Maturity is not just right off the top of my head. Maturity is putting yourself in better situations to where you don't get yourself in trouble. Like going home early and not staying out till 3 a.m, or
maybe I haven't matured yet.
Or maybe learning how to not drink too much to where you poop your pants at Chuck E. Cheese.
Financially responsible, take care of your family.
Learning how to pay your bills.
Right?
Learning how to learning how to be a good husband and a good father and a good mentor. And you use things like, I'm going to act today. I'm not on shift today, but I'm still going to act like a firefighter and a Decatur fireman, and I want people to see me being responsible and respectful. And it's maturity. It's growing up. At some point, you got to pull your head out of your ass.
Then how are you still a child? You're never letting go.
I'm still a child because I want to go play frisbees. I want to go play disc golf. I want to go ride my mountain bike with you in the mountains in Colorado. I want to go snowboarding. To tell you,
I'm incredibly jealous of you in that regard.
Yeah, I want to go snowboarding 74 times this winter. I want to go do cannonballs at the public pool because we talked about this at work last tour. If you're sad, this is going to be a book. I'm going to write a book. It's 3 pages. The first page is just all about me. It's just about the author. Second page is if you're depressed, read the next page. The last page of the book, it says, put on your swimming suit, go to the pool, or find a pool, or with a diving board preferably. While jumping into the pool, you have to yell cannonball as loud as humanly possible that you are capable of. It is physically and scientifically proven it's impossible to not smile while doing a cannonball while yelling cannonball. It's been proven. You cannot do a cannonball and still smirk and be sad. It's impossible. And then That's the end of the book. It's a coffee table book. It's a quick read.
It's a quick read.
You can't do it, Hannibal.
I tell you I'm jealous of you because you find time to enjoy those pleasures that you need to be who you are. And I worry about myself that I'm so focused on work and process and managing people and wearing so many different hats. And don't get me wrong, like this is not me crying by any means, because I choose the life I live. If I wanted to blow off my responsibilities tomorrow because I'm going to start valuing jumping in the pool over going to work and employment and people and things like that, like people that rely on me and projects and all the shit that I'm involved with, I could turn it off tomorrow. But there is a part of me that needs this constant pressure on me to perform. And I think that is why when I came across you and we started talking, and yes, we've become friends, I text you when I want to chat with you and I say therapy and we jump on and we do this. And the reason why we record it is because I know other people will get something out of the conversations you and I have. But this is truly our friendship. Like, if we didn't have to hit record, we would still be having this conversation on the phone.
This was the same conversation we had at dinner in Little Rock. So it doesn't matter. Yeah, I was just thinking about your bike again when you were talking.
I rode it around the yard the other day because I didn't cut the grass, and I put it in the shed for now.
I
took it out. I want to bring it up to my studio at the office and just like hang it up on the wall in the studio as a reminder it's there. And then I just want to tear ass through the office building with it, like every afternoon for like 20 minutes.
I was just going to tell you to go for a bike ride tonight with the wife and kids.
Wife's out to dinner with a friend. My other daughter just left for dinner with her friend, and my other daughter just got back from school, and none of them want anything to do with me. So I'm going to talk to my friend Shimek and have a cigar.
Because if I had that bike, I would go ride around the neighborhood, and I'd probably put my wife on the pegs behind me, and we would ride around the neighborhood, kind of like you did when you were 12 before this, because you knew the street lights were coming on in about an hour, and you knew you had to be home for dinner. And that last 45 minutes where the sun's coming down, that, the golden hour in photography, and you're just with your bros and you're all on your bikes and you're jumping curbs and you're doing stuff and you got to go home soon, but you don't want to, but tomorrow we're going to do it. It's just a good time. A BMX bike is freedom. It's what a motorcycle is.
It certainly brings me back to those memories I had growing up that I absolutely adore.
So that's why.
Growing up in the 80s and 90s kid was just such an awesome time. And I think about it today. I do that Bridging the Gap class where I talk about generational values and the differences between the generations and all of that. And I think about it. I think about what we had. We were in such a dynamic time. And it was, I can't even express to my kids how different it was for us versus them. Just so different.
We were less distracted, and we were less, I guess, you know how you didn't have the internet obviously back in the 80s, so you weren't so concerned with someone who you didn't know.
Terry's home. Come here. Come say hello. Come say hello.
Stinky out here.
Stinky out here.
Stinky.
Stinky.
Smelled it when I pulled in the driveway.
Did you?
Yes.
Well, I'm enjoying a cigar with a friend.
Who's your friend?
The Shimek. Come say hello. We're
Who's
recording.
this?
You'll be on the podcast.
Good, thank you.
Nope, she's running away. Running away.
Go for a bike ride with your dad later.
Jump on Ew. Her dad?
Is that your wife or your daughter?
That was my wife.
Well, go for a bike ride. Ride on the pegs. Be 18.
Love it.
No, we had a little big wheel gang when we were younger. Remember, you'd see a bunch of big wheels.
Remember doing the slides in those things? Bring the ass end around.
So you could do the longest skid on the driveway or those competitions on your bikes.
My friend Tim had a circular driveway in front of his house, but then down the right-hand side of his house, it went down a hill, and the garage was underneath the house, right? So that hill wasn't steep, but it was steep when you were a little kid. and we would wet the driveway down with a hose, and then we would pedal around that circle up top, and then come down and skid down the driveway. And the ass end of your bike slides out, and you're going side. You're turning your wheel the opposite direction to stay straight. Yeah, man, like so cool.
See, that's it. If we have to remind ourselves to keep some of that fire. Just because I'm 48, 49 soon doesn't mean I can't go snowboarding this winter 74 times or go do a skid contest tonight.
Dude, Mr. Passarelli in the cul-de-sac of my first house in town when I was a little kid. I mean, we moved when I was in 3rd grade, so before 3rd grade, Mr. Passarelli had a dirt mound in his driveway. It was a mulch delivery that he never spread, so that pile of mulch stayed in his driveway for like 2 years. And I would go down his driveway, cruise up on top of the mulch pile, come back down, right? And then we'd wear it out, so then we'd have to go over and push it all back up. And God damn, life was good.
Go do that right now.
I'm sure Mr. Passarelli is dead and gone, but he brings joyous memories to me.
I have been bombing down the mountain on my snowboard since 1988, I think it was. Stopped for a few years as I was maturing and growing up, but then I picked it back up again, and I realized it was so much fun. And when I was doing it, I didn't feel 48 or 9 or whatever. Just having a good time. And there's nothing better. You know, the mountain biking this last summer was the same thing. Boy, I was
that looked like a great trip for you, right? Colorado?
You what?
Colorado?
What's that?
Is it where you were mountain biking?
Yeah, we were up in Breckenridge. You ran some full suspension bikes there at the mountain, you know, and they take you up to the top, and it's all gravity for the most part. There's one trail that had some pretty good climbing, but just flying down, just bouncing around, having a good time, just feeling alive, you know, like it just, I was nearly in tears. I was having so much fun. And my buddy's like, dude, I haven't seen you like this rarely ever. I'm like, I know I don't know if I should cry right now or I am so jacked up. I feel
haven't had
19.
a moment like that in a while, pal.
And when you're catching air over a little mound coming down the mountain on the slopes that you ride in the winter on your snowboard, and you're, you know, it just makes you feel alive for a minute. And I think we lose that as men sometimes because we're so busy, and we're working, and we get in our routines, and we get used to drinking out of the same coffee cup at the station, and we lose some of that fire. We're losing some of the fire. Bring the fire. We need to put a class together, a workshop.
Well, this is what you do. I mean, this is why I call you. This is why I need to talk with you. This is my therapy. Like, I need to hear this because it's making me get excited about stepping out and doing something different this winter, getting back on skis. I want to get back on the mountain, man. I was such a good skier years ago.
And, you know, we're older and a little smarter now. So it's like, okay, I'm not jumping off a cliff or I'm not doing anything dumb, but I'm still out having a good time, having a blast, going fast, doing big turns. And there's no reason why you can't go have a skid contest in your driveway tonight. Yeah, the neighbor's going to laugh at you because he's so beat down working 9 to 5 for the last 40 years. He doesn't even understand what fun is anymore. And then when you come home for the next week, you're going to see your skids on the driveway going, that was a good time.
Yeah,
look who won.
Absolutely. Nah, I agree with you. I agree with you 100%.
There's no reason why a group of 49-year-old men on old BMX bikes can't have a skid contest tonight in New Jersey.
I'm 48, 49 in January, okay? Let's not push it.
Fire. We're losing some of the fire.
When's your birthday next month?
November 20th.
Nice.
Yeah. 49. Wow. God.
What do you do for 49?
Oh, let's see, I'm off. I think I'm staying in town. We got a few Huntsville Havoc games that week. I'm going to shoot some hockey. I'm going to probably go out for a nice dinner with the wife. You know, just lay low.
Boy.
Spend some time with the wife and, not shave for like 10 days. I'm off a tour. So, yeah, nothing serious. I mean, like we were talking about earlier, the 50th is when we're going to go to the Dominican Republic and, you know, go sit on a beach for a week.
Nice. Are you a beach guy?
No, I prefer the mountains, but I tolerate the heat and the beach because it is fun. And I do like, you know, the all-inclusive things, resorts there, you know, they got decent food and alcohol and you don't have to think about anything.
Yeah.
Nice place, big pools, the ocean. So could do some stand-up paddleboarding.
Nice.
Yeah. Just, you know, kind of keep that fire going.
Mm.
All this fun is being wasted on children. They're having fun. We need to get back. I need to channel the 13-year-old Shimek. That's the kid who was having so much fun. He wasn't thinking about RV payments or boat payments or medical insurance. He was riding his bike with his friends. No driver's license. Everything was BMX bike. And the rule was be home for dinner.
Yeah.
And the worst punishment my mother ever gave me growing up was grounding me to stay in the house. You could take away the TV. I didn't have any Nintendo or anything, but making me stay home is the worst punishment. We get older, we get responsibilities, we get lazy, we get bored, we get fat, we get ugly, and we get tired. And then we get to a point where you're like, I don't even know what's fun anymore. Really, Gary? Jesus, you're bumming me out. Let's go have a skid contest, bro. You can borrow one of my bikes.
I'm in, man. Let's do a skid contest. I love that. It's just so good, and this is why I enjoy talking to you, man, because it kind of just lights my fire. You know, it's like I've been grinding very hard lately. I've had every morning is out early, late, home late, between speaking and projects and just everything.
Let's not lose sight of the fun. Let's not lose sight of, you know.
I don't. I think I find fun in what I'm doing, and I enjoy what I do. So it's not, they say, oh, if you find something you love, you'll never work a day in your life. No, it's still work. I still enjoy it, though. Like, I love the hustle. I love the game of it. I love moving a lot of pieces. I love throwing 15 balls in the air at one time. I really do. Like, that's just who I am. But I do know that I need to turn it off every once in a while a little bit more than I have been.
I would love to have you
recognize that.
I would love to have you go on like a 3-day, fly up there, go up to like Vermont. We'll go ski or snowboard for like 3 days where you just no work and go do some runs, have a beer, have a laugh. Because I've seen a few people, I've reintroduced skiing to a few people, and it's like you get done with the first run and you look at each other like, yeah, remember that feeling? Let's do that again. And then
I think tomorrow I'm going to go get rentals for the winter.
I'm going to be highly disappointed in you as a friend if you do not do at least 1 day, full day. And I'll give you the leeway of this. Ooh, structure fire.
Jobs.
Ooh, sorry about that.
What is that? Anything good?
Wreck with entrapment. I still get the alerts because I'm a firefighter. No, I don't care where you go skiing. I want a picture. If I'm not with you,
you'll be there.
If I'm not with you, I want a picture. I'm going to hold everyone on the internet and everyone that's watching and who knows you. I'm going to hold you to this. You must produce a time-stamped photo of you in skis. Your face cannot be covered. We must know it's you. It can be in 25 or 26. It has to be this winter, though.
You're going to wear helmets now?
You should wear a helmet. It's not dorky to wear a helmet. I know back when we were kids, helmets were for dorks.
You didn't wear a helmet.
Of course I do.
No, I'm saying back then, like, you would never.
No.
Like, it was right.
No.
But now everybody does, right?
You should, 100%. It's weird when you see someone without one because, especially in North, I grew up in Minnesota where it was all ice. You hit your head on that, you're going to be drinking out of a straw the rest of your life. We know better. Wear a helmet. Nobody cares if you're cool. You're not cool anyway. I'm envisioning the conversation we're going to have after the ski trip where you go, bro, I can hear you now. Bro, I so fucking needed that. I can't believe I have gone so long without doing that. I am jacked. I am pumped. And while I was sleeping, I thought of 13 more balls I want to put in the air because I'm just jacked up on life. The fire's going, Shimek. I'm going to Venmo you some money because you're my therapist and I'm hot.
Jesus, you're hustling me now?
Jacked up. I would just use it to buy 80s toys on eBay. So.
Well, then I will support your habit. I support that.
You're going to get me fired up because we're losing. I'm seeing it. Go ask someone over the age of 45. Here's what I want you to do. I'm going to start doing it as well. I'm gonna start asking people just random things, every once in a while, like, hey, what are you reading? That's another one too, just to see if, what are you into? What are you reading? Another one is this. What do you do for fun? Tell me what you do for fun. And then let them talk. And if they look at you like, I don't know. I got a wife and kids and I go to work. Like, no, I don't think you heard me. You into bass fishing? You into skydiving? Hunting?
So this is now this is taking a turn because now I obviously with everything we bring it back to the firehouse, and we talk about the younger generations today, and they're more experiential. They want opportunities to do things. They have an identity outside the firehouse. But guys like you and I, and our generation, the generations before us, not many of them have something outside of the firehouse. And I wonder how and then there's that conversation. It's like, we need you to be all in. And it's like, yeah, but I have a life outside of the firehouse. And it's that crazy balance of like trying to figure that out. But like, I'm super jealous of like my oldest, all my kids have passions and they pursue them. And they are, living for the opportunities when they don't have to work or be, tied down somewhere. And as much as I'm like, man, you should get another job. Like, you make more money. Like, you know what I'm saying, though? Like, that's the difference, bro.
They're not straddled all the anxiety and stress and bullshit. They're just being kids. They're having a good time.
Jealous.
And we're all envious of them, for the most part.
Jealous.
I'm not envious of their music. It's terrible. And all their fads and dumb shit. They're overconnected. They're so concerned about what somebody who they don't know thinks about them. That would drive me nuts. So I'm glad I'm not them. But I look at them like, you guys don't have... I don't know. If you're not having fun, you're doing it wrong.
I agree with you.
You're absolutely wasting your time. And I promise you, at some point in your life, probably secretively, you will regret not having a skid contest with your friends at 49, not going skiing when you're 65, or not jumping out of a plane, or fishing, or hunting. What are you spending your money on? You're going to work 40, 50, 60 hours a week. What are you doing?
I think we got to put together the camp that we talked about.
Yeah.
Bro,
Summer
I'm
camp
telling you, the more and more I think about this, because there are so many guys like us that, well, I mean, we're not the same. You have more moments than I do and more recreational enjoyments and escaping and so on. I'm very jealous of that, but I want to find that. I want to find something to that effect for myself that I can put into my schedule and make a priority. No doubt. It's something I want to do, right? But I know there's a lot of people that struggle with this, and I think that's what I love about when you and I get together and talk about this shit. It's like, I know it relates. I know people can relate to everything we've just talked about.
100%. I've met a lot of guys in the fire station alone.
What if we just did like a ski meetup? Like, we're going to be at this mountain on this weekend.
You know how easy that would be?
Come ski with us. Go out the bar. We'll go to the bars. We'll go for dinner.
We'll rent a conference room every night and just have a little hour and a half, 2 hour conversation after dinner, before dinner or something. Like, just, have a few conversations, meet and greets, hanging out, and then let's go have a steak and a beer. And tomorrow we're going to go ride our snowboards and skis we're not having fun.
If anybody listens to this and they're into something like that, send us a message. I want to know that people heard this and are interested. I would love to see if we do something like that this winter. We're going to be here this weekend. Let's go.
Yeah. It wouldn't be hard. And so many people sit at the fire station and they go to work, and then they're not having any fun. And you see it in their face, you see it in their posture, you see it in the way that they're, as a leader or lieutenant or captain or whatever, as they're just miserable. They've lost somewhere along the line. They've lost the joy of firefighting as being a first responder. They've lost it for the job. They've lost it for maybe their wife and kids. They're down. They're depressed. They're getting out of shape. They're getting fat. And it's a cycle, and we can't get off that hamster wheel. And it's like, dude, skid contest. We got to get you.
The only thing with the skid contest is I have to get a bike that has foot pedal brakes, because you can't skid with handbrakes. It's very hard. So you have to be able to have foot pedal brakes. You have to be able to push back on that pedal.
If you want to get a good skid.
You want to leave I want to be able to see that skid mark 4 weeks from now when I'm pulling in the driveway.
Yeah. To remind yourself that you're still alive. It's the same reason why I want to build a mini ramp in my backyard. Because I would fall off it and hurt myself in 30 minutes.
Broken wrist, easily.
But I would love to pull into the yard every day and go, it's a mini ramp. I'm a grown-ass man. Has no business on that.
A lot of times on the weekends when I'm like outside, I have some time and I'm like doing something in the yard or whatever, just like kind of. I don't do that much in my yard anymore because I don't have time, right? But when I do, there's so many times Terry looks outside and she's like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "I don't know, just like messing around." Like, I'm like climbing a tree or like,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
all of a sudden I decided to clear out all the undergrowth underneath by the shed. Like I wasn't planning that today, but it's like I'm doing it now. It's like I want to do something, right? Like
You're having fun. Remember how much fun we had when we were 12 with 2 skateboards and a curb behind the grocery store? You'd sit there for hours. What were we doing? What were we talking about? We were just being kids, having a good time, learning how to ollie. Then somebody does a kick flip or somebody, and you're waxing things and grinding things, and you're just having a good time. And you go and get a sun drop, and then you go.
it's a sun drop.
Never had a sun drop?
Is that a regional thing? That's got to be something down by you. I don't know what a sun drop is. What is it?
Oh my God, I'm bringing sun drop to you.
What is it?
It's a soda. It's a pop. We call it a pop in Minnesota, but yeah, sun drop. It's amazing.
Yeah, but what is it?
It's like a lemon lime.
Yeah, it's like a mellow yellow.
Similar. I'm going to bring you. You need to drink an ice cold mellow yellow. First sip, you'll know right away if you're in or out. It's amazing. Sun drop. Really? They don't have sun drops in the Northeast.
Never
Okay.
heard of it. Never ever heard of that. No.
It's work-life balance, bro. Maybe I might think about it way too much, but I think it's important. I think
Have you always been like this?
oddly, yes. I think I've seen. I never.
Was the fire? And I don't truly do not want you to take this the wrong way. Was the firehouse or the fire service ever the true priority for you? Is that offensive that I ask you that?
No, I feel there's always going to be people that are going to jump on your back for saying that.
I don't think so. I mean, yes, they will. There might be some people, but like I'm starting to realize that like I think you're doing it right. You're committed to it. You're making a difference when you're there. You found this opportunity to give back to your department years in. You found your niche and where your message is with the CIV and the program you do and talking with your people, and like you have found something that fuels you. And without the fire service, you might not have found that.
Absolutely. So I'm here because of the fire service.
Right.
But I also don't identify. It's not who I am. It's what I do. And I'm very thankful for the fire service because at the time, funny, we talked about this last tour as well. I was lost. I got out of the Army. So I got out of high school, was completely lost, did a little time in the Army, completely lost. I was floating around. The fire service walked up to me and said, "Here's a blue t-shirt. I need you to shave your face and be here every third day." And I said, "No problem." So I'm your guy. The fire service was kind of like the Army and high school before that. It was, I need someone to just put some borders on me and just tell me give me a little bit of what you need me to do.
Interesting.
And so I showed up, and I showed up to high school, and I showed up at the Army, and I showed up in some ways at the fire service, and but it was very good for me. The city has been very good to me and my family. I'm very thankful. I'm thankful for the times that I knew I really made a difference in people's lives. We run medical, so everything from I don't even want to go down that road, but I can walk away in 36 months knowing that I helped and I made a difference, and I know I'm contributed to the people, and I held my head high, and I will walk out with my head high, but it's not who I am though. There's way more to me than that. So
I love that you recognize that. I really do.
it's hard to say out loud, but because I think in a weird way, firemen, first responders were kind of expected to be all in.
Well, but everybody's all in on what does all in mean? Like, it's subjective. Like, how do you put a definition to being all in? I am fine with a guy that's all in when he's there. I don't need him to leave the next day or in a volunteer fire service when he's not there. He doesn't need to bleed it. He doesn't need to live it to the utmost in every degree of his life. What I need him to do is to be all in, though, when he's there. When the public and your own guys are depending on you, I need you to be focused and all in, for sure, right? But I don't think there's anything wrong with when you walk out the door that you have other interests that consume you. I just don't want it to consume you while you're there.
Sure. We all have a job to do and responsibility to the citizens and to the department and to the guys next to you. And it's important to be, on the team. And, we made a joke one time that the red truck is the citizens don't see necessarily a firefighter. They just see the answers coming. So the red truck, we should almost just get it decaled that just says answers on the side, because they expect us to have the answer. And I was talking to one of the newer guys about this. I said, look, you realize that no matter what happens right now, they're going to call us. And when we pull up, they don't see firefighters or cops. They just see people who are supposed to know what to do, the answers. And we do our best at, solving the problem. So when you have a softball team traveling down the interstate in a Greyhound bus and it overturns and you've got 56 walking wounded, or a mass casualty incident, the traffic comes to a halt and the cameras come out and they're going to go, here comes the answer truck. They'll know what to do.
Yeah.
But, that's our job. That's what we signed up for. That's why we're there.
Yeah. Yeah.
We don't always have all the right answers, but we were expected to have an answer. We can pivot, but
Good stuff, buddy. What's new with you? What's cooking? Anything going on with the CIV?
I'm still putting together my worksheet. I got to get that out. I'm 94% done with that. We got a guy locally who
Have you been working? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I just don't want to jump. I just want to
jabbering.
Yeah, but have you focused on your program per se? I know we were talking about doing like a descriptive cut sheet on what the class is and stuff, but have you put together like your program to think about like
the workshop, like on your list, you have your workshop. Okay. And then the description. The description I went with is the foundation one. You and I have talked about the foundation of the firefighter and building. You start building the foundation of an officer the moment they come through the door on day one. So I've kind of labeled it all under that, to where it all ties into the communication and it all ties into, if we start paying it backwards and passing on the knowledge or learning how to support each other and how to, we got guys coming out of recruit school very soon. If we look at those 8 guys as kind of blank slates, and they're like, it's now we're going to mold them from day one, because in 5 years they're going to be lieutenants. And so we don't wait till we promote them to go, okay, well, now we want you to be a good lieutenant. We're going to start as soon as they hit the floor and they've been built into a good lieutenant,
Incredibly important. So many places don't have a process like that in place, and you go from the back step to the front seat overnight, and they're expected to know how to navigate that space. That's hard, and truthfully, it's not fair.
I think one of the first steps is just being conscious of the fact that new 19, 20-year-old kid in 5 years will very likely be a lieutenant. And so if we're already thinking like that now, we're 5 years ahead of maybe an issue, so it's not this shock. You have to invest early and really be conscious of, and it all ties into that stuff where we come back from a bad call and if you look around on the engine and go, okay, who's never seen that, or who might go, and making sure you're good, so that doesn't have an opportunity to sit and fester in 5-10 years, come out because you've never discuss the first time you've seen a suicide, or, because it can get nasty out there.
Yeah. Yeah.
So encouraging each other to talk about it and having a little bit more open conversations. When they're a lieutenant, they might not be struggling with some of these ideas and issues because they've been venting that a little bit and understanding, and, I don't know, just a big fat head talking. That's all I am.
Well, your big fat head talking is making a difference, and I know you're making an impact at home, but I'm excited to watch you start to make an impact across the fire service. And that to me is exciting. And that's why I challenge you with these things, because I think your message is very strong and the program will be very good. And excited for you to kind of craft that message and start to really get it out there. I think people need to hear it. And because it's simple, it's easy, it's manageable, it's anyone can do it. And it's not this 12-step program that, it's none of that. This is literally, it's as easy as pick your head up, look around, and have a conversation.
You just kind of have to take accountability for yourself and for others and for the new guys. And, you're very quickly going to be ending your career. And if you didn't do a good job of preparing the guys behind you, especially when there's a problem, if you just walk past that for the last 3 years of your career and not do anything, what are you doing? I want to leave it better. I want to leave you better prepared than I was, because then I am hopefully some of you will leave it better for the guy behind you, and then it'll snowball down into, change. And, and then the selfish reason too is I want to walk away knowing I did the best I could, and helped, I don't know. It'll be easier to go snowboarding in 5-10 years knowing that I tried to make a positive change, and then I can maybe go check in and see some of this change, and, and to go, yeah.
I also think too that where you'll make an impact, right? The fire services, the first half of your life. I mean, you're going to be retired by 51, 52 years old. And you have another half of your life left, and where you're going to make an impact is just having a conversation one day on a ski slope with somebody on a chairlift, right?
Mm-hmm.
Single. Yep. Jump in. Yep. Now you're going up in a triple, and you got a couple with you, and you just start talking, and next thing you know, maybe they needed to hear something and their marriage is saved. Or maybe, just a simple conversation gets a guy to think about, like, there's more to life. Kind of like what you did with me tonight, right? I come to you and say, I need therapy. You're my therapist. It's free. I'm not paying you. But your therapy helps me more than you'll ever know, because tonight's conversation was awesome. And I needed to hear it, and I'm so glad it went in that direction. And bringing up memories of, skidding your bike down a driveway, and, just Mr. Passarelli's mulch pile in his driveway. Like, that to me are conversations that I didn't have today until I talked with you. And it brings up those memories and those thoughts of, like, simpler times in life.
We were having fun.
We can get back to that in the hustle and bustle of everything that we all do. There's still time to find those rooted enjoyment moments that we should take advantage of, man.
Mm-hmm.
It's awesome.
And it goes full circle all the way to the other side, whatever you want to call it. There's a rookie or two sitting at the station right now that just needs someone to see them, to go, yep. And maybe just a conversation about, it can get hard, it can get ugly, it can get dirty, it can get stinky and loud, and they just need someone to go, it's not just you, bro. We all feel this, and if you want to talk about it, we can, but it's not you. I needed that in 04. There's kids that need it right now. So,
yeah. Let me ask you this. What do I do for you?
You've done a lot for me.
You're my therapist here, and I'm like, man, I'm just on the take all the time. So thank you.
I envy what you've been doing.
I appreciate you giving.
With National Fire Radio. I like all of that. That's fun. I love how you can get up in front of a room. You've given me a little bit more courage to just go, yeah, just get up and say something. I love how you say things like you're the worst. What's your line? You say you're like the worst fireman,
terrible husband,
or you're
terrible father, terrible fireman.
But I've seen you a few times jump up in front of people and just have a conversation, and then you're yapping and you're talking, and people respect you and they know you, and God, you would not believe how many people know you. I don't want to inflate your big head even bigger, but you know what I mean? Like, you're kind of like
when you when you put yourself out there, and I think that's what's interesting about the episodes I do with you, it's because people see this other side of me, right? I put a lot out there, right? I do my rants, I do my thoughts. I just did one the other day about like red and blue and we should be purple, and when it comes to like being tribal, and maybe we should shut up and listen and stop just thinking and building walls. If it's not my way, it's no way, right? Like, and just a post like that, it really had nothing to do with the fire service, but I relate everything to the fire service. But I think I've gotten to a point where I just put myself out there that a lot of people think they know me. And I think it's done because I don't really put up a lot of filters, and I am not afraid to take a position and take a stand and talk about something. And in fact, today I got challenged by a real friend, who told me I should challenge people harder on the podcast. He goes, "You have the opportunity to push people further because you have created something that people respect, and they think that," and he said to me, he goes, "I think people would want to hear more of that from you, that you can do that." And I'm very careful with my guests on the show, and I always want to promote them and always want them to be the focus for the most part. But there's some topics that I should go after with guests that I don't. And I wonder if I should start pushing a little bit. I don't know. This is a conundrum I'm having right now in my podcast world of, should I start tackling harder? I have opinions on everything. Should I start going after some of the stuff that I haven't taken a real stand on? And maybe I need to. I don't know.
I think you should. Simply, well, you got my mind racing. I've always enjoyed anyone or anything that gets past, I don't want to call it bullshit, but there's always a layer or two of like this, there's this crust. And if we can just kind of like, if you're interviewing somebody, like, let's get past the normal stuff and like, let's get into like, like that surface stuff. It's all kind of repeated and blurry, and we all just, brotherhood, or, you just blah, 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 smooth bore, blah, 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 like there's, but then
is it like when you open the mustard or the ketchup and it has the crust on top, and you sometimes have to like clean it off, and then you have to shake it because the oil's on top, and if you don't shake it, then it's like gross, and nobody wants that oily squirt out of the bottle. How's that?
That's a good analogy. I'm thinking of a movie star. You know how they sit down and they do interviews like all day when there's a movie coming out, and they got to say, here's the same 5 questions that everybody comes and asks. I would love to see a reporter go, "Hey, tell me where you really fucked up in the last year. When did you really just feel like a piece of shit, Brad Pitt?" And then work or family, or when did you just, like, let's remind the audience that you're a human being and you put your pants on one leg at a time and you're just like us. When did you feel like shit? Tell me about a bad day you've had in the last year. And then Brad's going to go, fuck, no one's ever asked me about that. They're all asking about this dumb movie that I'm just giving standard responses to. Well, the wife and I got into it, and, oh, you're married like I am? We're human beings? Or, like I can think about some chief, some big, scary guy. I would love for somebody to go, what's the worst mistake you've ever made on scene? What keeps you up at night because you can't believe you told somebody to go do that? And it almost cost somebody a life, or you knew better, but you did it anyway. And then you
glad I asked you this. My next podcast is going to be all about this. Thank you. You're writing my script for me. I appreciate you.
It's kind of like how you'll ask me, tell me about where you failed as a firefighter. We're all heroes. We've all got the shirts and the tattoos and the Red Bulls, and we're all doing push-ups in the parking lot because we're all brotherhood badass. But like, no. Tell me where you messed up. Tell me where you went back to the station after that call and you couldn't look anyone in the eyes because you knew you failed them. You didn't know how to catch a hydrant at 2 a.m. because your brain wasn't working, or you laid a line and it was 3 feet too short, and you never really made it to the fire, and you know it. And you know that your crew knows it, and they weren't on the nozzle with you, but you didn't get through the door. You were in the hallway spraying through the door, and you were hoping nobody sees you because you failed. But because they looked at you when you were loading hose, and then you went back to the fire station and you felt this big. Yeah, we're all heroes. Nobody wants to talk about when they fail. Let's talk about that.
It's a really good point. It's a very good point.
Here, I'll start. Here's a quick one. We were going to a structure fire. I was probably 4 or 5 years into my career. Okay. Still the guy in the back. My job was to catch the hydrant. We're pulling up. You can see smoke blocks away. This is it's rolling. We're going. We're going to be second in. Lieutenant leans back. Shimek, you're catching the hydrant. We always bring water to the fire. We come around the corner. I was taught in recruit school that you wrap the 5-inch around the hydrant twice and then stand on it before you tell the engine to go, to lay, start laying the line down the block. I was a block away from the fire. I did not wrap the hydrant because I was being lazy. I was jacked up. I had tunnel vision. So I set the coupling down next to the hydrant, said, go. As soon as the first coupling of the 5-inch hit, because we have trap doors on top of that engine, it caught and it pulled it 3 feet, maybe a foot, 2, 3 feet. It pulled it. By the time I realized what happened, he was 500-600 feet. A 5-inch was on the ground. Okay. And I went, holy shit.
I'm short.
And there's guys in this fighting this fire right now that are going to need water in 5 to 6 minutes. No lie. An engine pulls up. He's a lieutenant now, Lieutenant Mike Leonard. They pull up, said, what do you need? And I looked at him and I said, I need 12 inches and I need it now. And those guys got off the truck, and the 4 of us, we pulled, I'm not lying. I'll get them on the show. We pulled
12 inches. That's hilarious because my mind goes somewhere else. Anyway,
it was a foot or 2. Yeah, I said, I need it. But I thought my life was over. I'm about to kill some people.
Desperate.
Those guys got off the truck, and with me, we pulled a block of 5-inch, uncharged, but on the ground, 5-inch hose. We pulled it, and we got it up to where it would hook, and we hooked it in, and I charged it because they were blowing the horn. Where's water? Where's water? Where's water? Air horn. I need a foot, and I need it now. And to this day, he still laughs at me. He goes, the look in your eyes. I knew you.
Why didn't you just pull a pony off their truck?
My mind wasn't thinking about any of that. My mind is I just killed everyone that's on that hand line a block away. I need a foot and I need it now. Yeah, fucked up. Sure. Almost. And I walked the block to the fire, and they had it knocked down. It was, room and contents fire. They had it knocked down. By the time I got up there, I was gassed. I took my air pack off. I went straight to rehab like I'd done anything. But I saw my life flash before my eyes. Most people probably wouldn't tell that story. I'd love to ask a white helmet, a white shirt. You're sitting there talking to these very important, because you got a lot of very important people on this show. Tell me where you messed up. Tell me where you failed.
I'd fire out 2 windows on arrival. Line gets stretched. They're working their way through the front door. I can't get water to the line. I never put the truck in drive.
Mm-hmm. I've done that.
And I'm running around trying to figure it out. I mean, I'm priming the pump, thinking the water didn't drop into the fucking pump, like all this shit. Mm-hmm. And I'm doing all this troubleshooting. Meanwhile, if I just looked up at the pump panel and noticed the center light wasn't on, or if I ran back to the truck and just retraced my steps, I would have realized I engaged the PTO. I never put it in drive. Right? So, like, nothing's happening. And these guys are calling for water, waiting for water. And I'm like, motherfucker, what? And then one of the guys came over, and I'm like, I can't get water. And he climbs up in the cab, and boom. I'm like, son of a gun.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Not only is that a way for people to see you being real, and because when you talk about your shortcomings, right? But also, it's a teachable moment.
Yes.
Young guys need to hear.
Never will make that mistake again, right?
Yeah.
You learn from it.
You learn from it. And people who are listening to that story, laughing at you, they're also going, that could happen to anybody.
No doubt.
And if it ever happens to me at 3 a.m, when you pull up and you see a block on fire and you're like, holy shit, your mind can easily forget to put the truck back in drive so it engages the pump. Right. It's very easy to get off that truck going, I got to get water to the guys, and you forget a very simple step.
No doubt.
Yeah.
We're all heroes. My man, we're all heroes.
But tell me where you failed.
Yeah. It's good, man. It's really good. Well, I want to say thank you. I needed this. I'm glad you jumped on with me tonight. This was a last-minute thing, but it means the world to me. So absolutely. I appreciate you very much.
Appreciate you.
Yeah. Let's get those ski passes together. Let's figure this weekend out. Let's put it out there. Can you make your way to the Northeast?
100%. I can be there in 6 hours.
You bring the van?
No, I sold the van. I got the van you've seen.
Oh, okay.
My other camper van's gone.
Yeah.
No, I'll fly because
You fly up here.
absolutely.
I'll pick you up, and then we'll drive up to Vermont.
Fly, meet you wherever you need to meet. We'll rent the conference room for a night or two, and the rest will be just going with the flow.
You know, I spoke in Vermont like 6 months ago, and one of the guys there is the maintenance super for God, which mountain is it up there? Might be, actually. You say that. It might be Stowe. We went to Stowe Village on that trip, so it might be. My wife and I and the kids drove up to Stowe Village that day, and it might be Stowe. I'm going to have to make some calls because I want to put this together.
It just jumped into my mind. Why has National Fire Radio never done their own conference? It in a way, it would be kind of like, let's invite a couple of your buddies who can talk. We're doing this live on air, but let's just say that every night we do a speaker, and then we all go out to eat at the bar and have a steak and a beer and him and ha. And it's a little bit of conversation, a little bit of just bros having a good time. And you can learn a little bit, get some friendships, some bonding, and have some laughs.
There is a lot to that, and I think we need to explore that further.
100%.
National Fire Radio is putting a conference together for next year in 2026, either Q3 or Q4. It's going to be the Volunteer Fire Summit, actually. It's going to be a conference for the volunteer fire service tackling issues that are plaguing the volunteer fire service. And I'm actively putting that together. That's been mentioned, but nothing definite yet as in location or date. But what you're talking about is simpler than that, and I'd love to explore that further. So that'd be fun. That'd be cool.
Dig
All right,
it.
buddy boy. I appreciate you very much.
Appreciate you. Appreciate what you do. I think I can't tell you enough.
Remind everyone, what do you do again?
Well, I get on a podcast once in a while on YouTube and Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Conversation is Ventilation. I just kind of talk about the other side, some of the things, some of the obvious, some of the not so obvious. Just talk about things. We get things going. I spark conversations. Sometimes I dance. And I don't know.
I don't think you dance. I don't think there. I will say when we started this podcast, you had music cranking there. It was like, Club Shimek over there. But good stuff, pal.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm building. I'm kind of just following along with you and seeing where this goes. I think that I'm realizing I add a little bit of a different twist to some things. So if I can get in more rooms and be a part of more conversations and spark things, I like to think I like to plant things in your mind, that might fester for a while.
Give me an email that people can shoot you a message at.
Conversation is ventilation@gmail.com.
Love it.
And just
I would challenge anybody that listened that made it through this whole episode. Do me a
Hi,
favor.
Mom.
Yeah, right. Well, you know what? Hey, we got to support. They have to support their children. It's just you have to. So, thanks, Mom, for being here tonight. But if anybody else tagged along for the whole episode, I can tell you that Chris Shimek, the Shimek, brings tremendous value in his conversations, and that's why I keep having you back on here, just because I enjoy it so very much. And I know what you've done for me personally, and I thank you for that and our friendship. I appreciate you very much. So if you're listening and you're looking for something a little bit different, or you're looking for a way to engage your people that's just a little off the beaten path from what most conferences offer, or so on, I think conversation is ventilation is certainly a topic that should be focused on, and I think people should reach out to you. I really do. I think that you can make a difference in a lot of people's career with your messaging. So I hope that you get a few message from this episode, and I thank you for being my friend. I appreciate you.
Thank you for being my friend.
Cool. All right, buddy. Good luck with everything. Stay right here. I'm going to sign off. And
Alrighty.
Then, thanks, dude. Appreciate you. Guys, thanks for tuning in for another episode of the National Fire Radio podcast from the patio tonight. had a nice cigar and a great conversation with a good friend. And I don't think life should be any more complicated than that. And tonight was exactly what I need. I'm titling it therapy. It's my therapy. It's my checkout for the last hour and a half, and just catching up with a friend and enjoying a cigar. And I think sometimes life can be as simple as skidding your bike down a driveway. And I think you should enjoy that. So if you're looking for it, go find it. You can have it again. I promise you that. Anyway, do me a favor. Take this conversation, take it back to the firehouse and talk about it, because when we're talking about the job, we're making the job better. We'll see you at the next one. Jeremy, National Fire Radio.
National Fire Radio.